What's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me is always my buddy, my cousin, pal, the man with the plan, the guy who is. How are you feeling today, John? You were at the game yesterday. You were there, front row, right there, front and center, watching this game unfold before your very eyes. You had a fire first quarter. You start to see the second quarter going kind of down the tube, and then the second half comes along. You're like, what the hell just happened? What's going on, bro?
What up? I mean, yesterday was awesome. Of course, I didn't wear my only Knicks jersey that I rock, my Starks jersey, and then John Starks is sitting right next to me. But I had him sign. I took a picture of him. Had him, yeah, of course, dude, of course. And then I had him sign my Knicks film school hoodie. But I was like, oh, come on, man. Like, I could just be wearing my Starks jersey.
The one
Knicks game. But anyway, now I have to always wear it, right? Dude, it was just a typical third quarter Knicks game. I mean, to be honest with you, on a personal level, and it sucks to say out loud, it was the most fun loss I've ever had in my life. Because I was so close. Like, I've never been basically courtside to a Knicks game, so it was just like unbelievable. Like, John Starks is next to me, Dolan walks by, Fat Joe, like, so it, like, the experience was just made it a little different, but also, like, it was just so typical. Like, Knicks get ahead, lose the third quarter, like, that's just a typical day in the life, like, of being a Knicks fan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I so for me, it, like, we'll get into it. We should introduce our guest, but I'm okay, man. I'm content. We kind of called this, like, game with Toronto. It was going to be hard. It just annoys me that they are missing two starters and their most important starters outside Van Fleet, arguably, and they still, kind of killed us. But whatever, we'll get into all of it. But I'm all right, man. I'm all right. I'm chilling. We got the Jets coming on Thursday. I mean,
we got Mike White.
Yeah, it's a weird week coming, man. We got the Knicks at the Pacers. It's a scary game. Pacers are gonna be healthy, and we're looking like we're reeling a little bit. But let's get into all of it. Let's introduce our guest, man.
All right. Let's introduce the guest. I had to bring that in because you were there. I want to make sure you're okay for this podcast. I don't know if people are watching this on the YouTube right now, but John, he looks a little tired. He looks like. I need some energy, something to keep me going. Might have to get this man a cappuccino.
I feel like the Knicks.
All right.
I'm slumping a little like the Knicks.
Yeah. Oh, man. And if you heard that voice, and if you heard the voice earlier, and if you listen to Knicks podcast and you've listened to post-game shows, you know who it is that's with us today. The one and only Jay Ellis, founder of the Nick of Time show. We got him with us today. How you doing, Jay Ellis? How you feeling?
I'm doing all right, guys. I think I might be the only Knicks fan not on suicide watch today because, Knicks lost. Knicks lost to Toronto, but it's okay. We're still 5-2. We're okay, guys. Like, chip her up.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, fine. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I had a great time personally. Like, I'm not really. It's just annoying that they're missing two of their starting guys, but. That's typical. That's so typical. NBA, you even see in the NFL, when people are missing their starting guy, everyone else steps up. That little extra boost usually gets them over the hump.
Right, it does. But yesterday was I don't know. We fell asleep at the wheel, and there were certain things that I saw that need to be nipped in the bud, and hopefully Tom does that eventually.
All right, so let's get into this. All right, because I think we already know what the nipping in the butt is around here, all right? Especially if you watch these 7 games and maybe some preseason. I don't know. What do you want to start off with? Because there's 2 things we can start off with. It's either Julius Randle getting a little too much isolation point Randle, or we can talk about just being unable. I don't even know what the word is because I'm still annoyed from yesterday. The Knicks just can't hold a double-digit lead. All right, we saw them against Philly, and then everything else after that, it's every time. It's like they take their foot off the pedal, and then they're like, "Oh, we know we're good. We're okay. We're better than last year. We have 2 guys who can play make, who can shoot, that we don't have to worry about offense. We can just hit it out. We're leading the NBA in 3-point shots. We're so dynamic this season. We can chill. We're cool, right? We could be like one of those top teams that can just kind of take the regular season easy and then turn it on during the playoffs. No, that is not this team. Not this team whatsoever. So which one do you want to talk about first, guys? Come on. Pick your poison.
I want to talk about the defense. I want to talk about the defense in general.
All right.
The defense of the first unit in general is what concerning to me. I mean, of course, Julius Randle too. Like, you know, he gets his fair share of the blame because of the ISO Randle. But to me, the defense in general has been a problem
since day one.
In spurts and since day one. And like I've seen a difference between last year preseason versus this year preseason and that following into the season. Like I still remember last year preseason when we first got Tibbs and we saw these guys play defense for the first time. You were kind of all scratching your head like, is this the same team? It seemed like there was a consistent effort for like most of the game starting from the opening tip on out. And with this team, the offensive talent right now is, you know, it's absolutely there. You see the runs we go on. But even from the first game of this preseason, it seems like the defensive intensity is not there all the time. And it seems like, you know, there needs to be a spark. They need to be motivated more. It just seems like to me, Tom needs to have a shorter leash with the first unit when it comes to effort on defense to me.
No, I agree with you, man. I think effort is the right word to use for it because as most people talk about in the NBA, defense is mostly effort. It's not a lot of talent like offense, being able to shoot the ball or having like that crazy burst of speed. Sometimes you have the intangibles of having long arms, a wingspan to close off lanes, but it really is just an effort all around. And these guys, you can see that they're taking plays off. Unlike last season where we saw Randle and everybody really giving 100% effort. I think the only person that you can really say and kind of exclude is RJ Barrett from giving effort because he's playing like a two-way star right now that we want to see him become. We can save RJ later to cleanse the palate of what we're about to discuss today, but it definitely is the effort for sure. I mean, when we look at just defensive rating across the NBA, right? Knicks were top 5 last season. They were in the top 5 defensively. Now they're ranked 20th. They're below even league average, you know. Their defensive net rating is 109. They're giving that's not the backbone of a Tom Thibodeau led team, but I think that's also, you know, it's kind of you know how like you're dating somebody and you like when you break up with somebody, you go to the overcorrection. You're like, oh, this person wasn't too caring enough. Now you're hyper caring, or you know, you go to somebody. That's kind of what's happening right here. That's how I feel what it is. We were too defensive heavy. Not enough offense last season. Now it's like we need offense. All right, let's go crazy offense because now we're in the top in 3-point shooting. You're like, whoa, 2012, 2013 season, Melo era. That's what we're feeling now. And defense, you're like, huh? So I don't know, guys. Like we need something to happen. Tibbs needs to hold everybody accountable. John, as I said earlier, you were there. You were there. Okay, you saw it firsthand, courtside. What do you think about the defensive effort, man? Because do you think it was just a trap game because they took him too lightly? Because they could have thought, hey, no Scotty Barnes, no Pascal Siakam. This is going to be easy night for us. Or do you think that this was just something that is just, as we saw from other games, just an issue that was on the brink of happening, and this is the game that needed to happen to make it happen?
To be honest with you, and I really hate to admit, so I didn't really listen to any commentary on this game, and it's different when you don't listen to, you know, the broadcasters either. Like I really had I have no idea what anyone thought about this game, to be honest with you. The only thing I got kind of is the Randle issue that people are having, which of course I saw as well. But on the defensive side, I really hate to admit that I feel like this is where we miss Bullock. I don't think overall on a defensive effort we miss Bullock ever, and I don't think it shows up in the advanced stats or the regular stats on an overall basis. But on this specific game, where somebody like Gary Trent Jr. is an absolute Knicks killer every single time he plays us, a la Terrence Ross. Like there's just these guys that come in and the Knicks just simply can't guard. Like they're too quick for Randle or too small for Randle to handle. They pop threes and they open it up and then that's it. It's over and they expose us. And for us, it's Gary Trent Jr. And even like Van Fleet, he was driving in a little bit and dishing out and creating some threes. But it's just, I don't know. Gary Trent was the X factor. Of course, OG. Like I'm going to give it up to OG.
Yeah,
I'm going to give it up to OG. But that's what I'm saying. That's not a trap. You know what I'm saying? Like he's an all-star. You know, like OG's an all-star. He's a great defender, and you better respect that. He's gonna shut
for sure.
RJ down. You know what I mean? Like that's what, or kind of Randall. You know what I mean? That's what you expect. Like he was doing some chipping here and there. He was talking a lot of smack to RJ though. He was really getting to RJ's head. Gary Trent Jr. was playing great defense. I don't know. That's what I saw personally. I think we're just missing that Bruce Bowen, that, you know, Reggie Bullock. They're not in the same, you know, they can't hang out in the same team even, but, you know, just that type of player, that wing defender that's going to guard the best player. And to be honest with you, that's our biggest flaw. Like that's what if we're sitting in a playoff series, that's how we're going to lose. Like we could have a game like we did versus Boston game 1, but game 2, guess what? Tatum's dropping 60. You know what I mean? Because like we're not going to stop.
Yeah, my thing is we might have a guy like that on the bench. He's just not, you know, he's not getting minutes.
Not old enough. Okay. But you think he could have guarded like OG or Gary Trent yesterday? Come on.
No, I mean, he would have done better than Fournier was doing.
Fournier didn't even play the 4th.
Exactly. Why do you think he didn't play the 4th? Because he was getting burnt. He was getting like he was not putting his best defensive effort. And I understand like you being close and me seeing the TV is like a different perspective. Like him and Randle to me were not giving their best defensive effort, and that's why IQ got Fournier minutes last night. Because
what about the guards? Were they playing D? Like were Kemba and Rose playing D?
I feel like Kemba was playing D. I actually feel like Kemba's defense has improved since the first few games, and I feel like he's been flying around. He's been, you know, trying to close out on shooters and things of that nature. And but he's not a defensive guy, but he's not, you know,
what point guard is, man. Like,
right? He wasn't mailing it in. He wasn't a mailing it.
You're not going to have a defensive stalwart point guard. Like, let's just throw that out the window. Like, your one is not supposed to be that, is going to be that guy. You know, it's really everybody else that we have to look for to pick up that weight, right? So RJ's doing his thing. Evan Fournier wasn't doing his thing. We see Randle taking plays off. Maybe he looks frustrated. This isn't the first game he's looked frustrated. He looked frustrated in New Orleans too. You know, he allowed OG to go off last night. Fournier just couldn't stay in front of his man, but he's not a good on-ball defender. He's a better team defender. And he wasn't even helping out the team last night.
Yeah.
And I know you're alluding to Quentin Grimes to get some minutes, but Quickly played well, you know, outside of shooting wise, who he's struggling. And we're going to talk about him a little bit later. Defensively, Quickly was staying in front of his guys. I think people underrate how good defensively Quickly is. And he was doing that last night, at least.
He's in general, it's kind of going under the radar that Quickly has been pretty good defensively. I was reading a random stat. I'm not sure what it is right now, but when I was checking the stats like last week, he was like top 10 in defensive 3 closeouts like last week or so. So he's putting the effort on the defensive end, and it might be because, you know, we have competition on the defensive end as well. You know, we got Grimes behind him, we have McBride behind him, so maybe that's lighting a fire under him to step it up on that end. But, you know, he's definitely putting in the effort on that side of the ball. It's just the shooting is just not, you know, it's not there right now. But, you know, we'll talk about Quickly later.
Yeah, but Tibbs rewarded it yesterday.
He did.
He left quick in when everyone, and you know, my friend who I was with and the people next to me too, everyone's like, oh, like they're gonna take quick out. I was like, how can you take him out right now? He's the only guy I can actually trust right now to play a little defense, but also like kind of score. And, you know what I mean? Like at one point, I was like, I'd rather take that, like, you know, ridiculously far IQ 3 right now than pretty much any other offense we got going on. at the moment.
Yeah, and plus in the back of your mind, you've seen quickly just kind of snap out of it and drop 20 out of nowhere. So like if he's gonna play defense, and he's passing the ball because he had some nice assists yesterday,
he really
5
did.
assists.
Yep.
Then you're just like, you know what? Roll the dice. You never know. Quickly gets hot all the time, and then next thing you know, we're back in the game. How many games did he just single-handedly bring us back by himself last season just by shooting the ball? And unlike, usually like last night, the shots he took weren't bad shots. He had wide open shots that he missed in the corner.
Here's my problem. I can close my eyes and say the last 2 things you just said I could say about Randle. So I want you guys to talk to me about Randle because in the first quarter he was murdering. Dude, yep. I thought I was literally screaming at him. I know he could hear me, and that was so cool. Low key, that was so cool because he's like looking at me. I know he can hear me. I'm screaming. I'm right there. I'm like, yo, drop 40. Like he's like looking at me like laughing, like shut up. But he was on track for like 20, 15, and 5 or 30, 15, and 5. Why not? He was killing it in the first quarter, and then he kept trying, and I know that you guys say ISO ball. I didn't watch it on TV, like I said, but it looked like good shots to me. That's like art. It was like he was taking his baseline jumpers. They looked fine. Like to me, it wasn't crazy, and nobody was doing anything, dude. Like it wasn't like he was like people were moving and he was like stealing the ball from Kemba from the top, like Melo would do. Like, you know what I mean? Like from the 3-point line, like give me the ball right now and just wait, and I'm gonna steal it for 14 seconds and you just get the rebound if you want it. I don't think he was doing that. I think they were like deferring to him, like, yo, we don't know what to do. Could you please score? So they like double team you. You know what I mean? And then like RJ threes from the corner, same idea.
I think the thing with Randle though is that outside of the first quarter, he was in such a good rhythm where it was just either taking his own shots or playmaking and creating for others, right? Once that second quarter came around, the issue wasn't necessarily him scoring. It was more so him playmaking for others. He was holding on to the ball a little too long, not finding guys in rhythm, waiting, like just we're talking 1-2 seconds later to actually pass it out, and they adjusted to him. And I think they adjusted to him, but then he didn't counter to adjust to what the defense was doing. And that's what really threw off the remainder of the game. Because if you're going to run it through Randle, then Randle has to be smart enough, like he did in other games, even when he didn't have it going, right? And whether it was Chicago or New Orleans, he was still getting other people involved, even though he was showing some frustration, especially in New Orleans. And that's what he didn't do last night. And for a team that we're going to have to run through if we're going to have to run through Julius Randle, he needs to be on his A game in that aspect. I saw someone on Twitter shout out to Popolef because he tweeted this. He's like, Julius Randle looks like a guy that doesn't really care about his numbers, but thinks he has to get the numbers. Because that's his job. Yeah. No, seriously, like tweet of the day. And it really is true. Like when you look at it, he looks frustrated because he thinks he has to be doing more when it's fine for him to be doing less. It's okay. Like we have the 4 guys in that starting unit that can pick up for him. We see RJ did it against New Orleans. Okay. We saw it against in Chicago. Like we don't need him to always like come in and have to do that. That's not his role anymore, to be that guy to drop 25, 30 to keep us in the game. We don't need him to do that. So for him, it's just figuring it's going to take time, man. I wrote about it for Knicks Fan TV for being patient with RJ Barrett, and this whole team has to find rhythm together, especially the first unit, because literally these two between RJ and Julius have not had the same starting unit for 3 years in a row. Okay.
Yeah.
Last year when we had David Fizdale, we had Mook, Randle, RJ. It was weird to start off with Alonzo Trier, Frank Ntilikina, and Elfrid Payton, and then you have Taj Gibson starting at center, right? And then Wayne Ellington or Reggie Bullock whenever they came in after Mook was gone. Last season we had Payton, Bullock, RJ, Julius, Mitch for half the season, then Noel. Now we're back here again where it's Mitch, RJ, Randle, Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker. And each year, the offense is vastly different from one another. Okay. That first year, not good 3-point shooting team outside of Mook. Second year, we had a good percentage, but not volume wise. Now we're actually a good 3-point shooting team with a lot of players who can play make and put the ball on the floor. So I think there's kind of like a balance for everyone to figure out how to adjust to one another and know what spots they're like, know each other's role, and just get comfortable with that. But if he's going to run through Randle, he has to know that it's okay that he doesn't have to be that guy. That's just my take on it.
And also too, like I feel like is something emotionally happening with him. Like I know Randle in general is an emotional player, like in general, and he seemed like a robot yesterday. Even when he was shooting well, he seemed like a robot. So I'm like, what was happening there? Like, and I get the fact that he wasn't making plays, and the defense adjusted, and they was kind of pressing him higher and forcing him to make better passes, and he wasn't answering the bell. But it was like other things that compounded with that made it seem so bizarre that he just looked like he checked out. Like they would steal the ball and he would just not go back on defense, or the ball would be like 10 feet vicinity of him and he would make an effort to like play help defense or grab a rebound, or there was just a complete lack of effort in every area of the game that I'm not really used to from Randle. And I don't know if it's because he feels like he wants to shoot and he can't, so he's pouting, or something else happens behind the scenes in the locker room or something, because that just did not look right to me at all. Like it just, I don't know.
Listen, I mean, if you listen to our last episode, we kind of predicted a little bit that this might be a trap game coming off what we predicted would be 2 wins, 2 on the road, coming back for this one home game before going back on the road.
Right.
He just had a second kid. He might be onto something with this off the field stuff. He coming home for like one day. He got a bunch of stuff to do. Then you got to go work the next day, and then you have to pack because you're going to Indiana right after work. Right. So maybe like the season is already starting to get tired. Work is tiring. What I mean? So.
That's a good point.
No, it's a great point. And like to even add on to that, like people like to think that it's just all fun and games, but athletes put in a ton of work. Like it's just not on the court. Like besides practice, working out, like the nutrition, like the diet, like everything. It's a round the clock job that you have to do. Make sure you're getting your rest. So
yeah, so it was kind of due for a trap.
Yeah. And Randle's really easy to read too. Like if you watch,
he wears his heart on his shoulder, dude.
Seriously,
I love it. I love it though.
If you watch post games from the season before last,
my God,
when he's in his hoodie and his face
yeah,
and until leading up to the season where they haven't won anything yet, and the hoodie's still on his head and his face is still down, to when they started winning and you see like all like
the smile.
Like it's like he wears his heart on his sleeve. So I don't know, man. Like even when he was scoring 18 in the first, he just, I don't know. His eyes was glazed over. I don't know what was up there. Something's up. I don't know.
It happens. Like there's a trap game. John was the one that called it. I thought it was going to be New Orleans, just because I feel like I had this. Like we both had the same thing. It's like you're playing down. The Knicks play down to their competition, and they've shown that at the beginning of the season too. And I thought they would be up to the challenge. I think they may have been up to the challenge if Scotty Barnes was on the court. But I think when you see that he's out, maybe it's like, easy to keep it going. And we got this one. We got this in the bag, right, guys? We got this in the bag.
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a question about this game before we move on.
All right.
Like if you're Julius Randle, like let's talk about a little bit of the frustrations on the court. Mm-hmm. Like we have this new quote unquote offense, right? Because we know that Tibbs doesn't know how to run an offense. So he just like, whatever you guys can do. And so he just surrendered to the analytics, or like, yo, just shoot threes. No one can say anything. If you just shoot threes, even if you miss them, they're going to say, oh, we're analytics, we're fine. You're hip, you're modern, like mess up that way. And so they're running that. But if I know we're 42%, right, at the end, but if we're down, like if it's not working, if these threes aren't working, if they're guarding us, and it really is like just give it to Randle. Like the whole game plan becomes foiled. And when RJ was covered pretty well. I know he does this cool little thing where he like walks in and he like goes like this as soon as he starts the game to like turn on. Like I've noticed it a couple times, but like I really noticed it yesterday. And I get it, but sometimes he's like too into his own head, a little ironic, but he gets like guarded. So when he's stuck at the 3-point line, you just got to give it to Randle. We're asking him to ISO, so we can't be upset with him if we can't hit a three, we can't run an offense. We give him the ball, and we can't be annoyed with him if he misses it. You know what I mean? We kind of just have to like accept is what it is if that's what we're asking him to do as a last resort. It's kind of like the third option.
I see. The thing is, I think Tibbs likes to go to Randle because Randle's earned that, but the last two games, RJ has shown that he has a complete bag. And I think for yesterday, they could have gone to RJ and they just have to say, RJ, go do your thing. Because once again, RJ put on another clinic like he did in New Orleans and showing, hey, I got to pull up jumper. Hey, I can pull, I can do all this stuff now. Anything that you're asking me to do, I'm not necessarily great at it, but I can now do it. He's really taking that next level. And he put up 27 points. He had 6 rebounds last night. He had 1 steal. Okay. No assists, but he was still trying to do some playmaking. He was kicking the ball out when he was driving. He's showing the diverse package that we all wanted to see from him since the start of his career. Right. And I think we have to start moving away from saying, all right, things don't look good. Let's just stop going it has to stop saying let's just go to Randle because RJ can now do stuff. RJ can now do stuff. And it's not necessarily they are guarding RJ. It's that Tibbs is giving Randle that green light saying, all right, guys, nothing's working. We're going to go to our $100 million man right now to go get us some offense. And we got to stop doing that because we have other guys that can do that. And I think that's it. But we'll save more on RJ because I'm really about to we can all wax poetic about RJ at the end because my goodness gracious.
Yeah, I was about to jump in, but I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna leave it.
All right. Let's go on to the next thing though, because the bench unit for these last 2 games not holding up their end of the bargain. not at all. We're supposed to, last year, I like to say last year, starting unit was the Thunder because they like to work in the paint. And even sometimes this year, you see that whether it's Mitch getting lobs, Randle, not as much as he used to, but between Randle and RJ, they like to bully and get to the rack. Okay. The second unit is always the Lightning because they play with a lot of pace. They love to run up and down the court. They have the shooting. They're just lights out. And that was the most fun aspect last year. And that was like the big draw for this year. We are 10 deep. It's what we're supposed to say. We're a deep team. I know we're still a deep team. I know it's rough right now. People are trying to get their rhythm back. People are still trying to figure things out, work out the kinks. It's still early in the season. If anyone's ever played a sport, you know what it is. You start playing regular games and you're still trying
sounds
to
like we're 2-5, Jay Ellis.
Yeah, but we have a winning record still.
We have a winning record.
I know, right? It sounds like we're 2-5.
And that's a stupid thing though, because everyone's overreacting, saying like, "What is going on?" Everyone's ready to throw everyone out the window, whether it's Randle, like everybody. It makes no sense. Burks is like getting torched. It's like, come on, guys, like.
I don't understand where the Burks hate came from. He's playing like 10 minutes a game.
Burks hate right now?
There is Burks hate right now, man.
He played fine yesterday.
He played. That's it. He played fine. Like I don't know why these getting hate.
Yeah. I have no issue with him.
Yeah, I think
so.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Everyone's getting heat because we lost a game to the Raptors that were undermanned. But once again, it's the NBA. 82 games. You're gonna lose some games, and there's gonna be some games that you're just not expecting to lose. Okay. It happens, but I know it sounds like we're like 2-5, but we're actually 5-2. But we have to calm people down from the ledge. All right, people are over at the Tappan Zee, George Washington Bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge. They're all ready to jump into the ocean or the river, and it's like,
exactly.
Guys, relax, just absolutely relax. So bench unit's not playing up to snuff right now. Not liking it. I'm going to start off with you, Jay Ellis. What are you seeing, man? What do you think the issues are?
Well, first I'm gonna say there's more talent in the front court because before we had Elfrid Payton starting, and it's kind of a thing where Elfrid Payton's not playing well, quickly can get more minutes. Well, now we have Kemba, and Kemba can shoot the lights out, so the need for quickly to stay in longer has been kind of cut. So I think that's one thing. Like, it's just the depth. The depth is going to make it harder for quickly to get more than 10 minutes a game or have a quicker hook. Secondly, there's a thing where quickly is not, he's trying to get used to playing point guard and being a shooter and still playing with Derrick Rose and Alec Burks. And, it's different when the ball is in your hand and you have one role for the entire time you're on the court. Like,
for sure.
It's a little bit weird when you're like, okay, now I'm the point guard, now I'm the shooting guard. So it's like your mentality changes a little bit, and it might throw off his rhythm. So I think that's kind of been happening. But basically, the real basic thing that's been happening is he's missing shots. And
you're trying to be so nice. He's
just missing shots, man. He's just missing, and I expect him to hit him eventually because he was hitting him last season. And I just expect it to fall. I'm not panicking with quickly on the shot making. Sometimes decision making is a little bizarre. The last couple of games has gotten, a little more tamed, but I just need him to hit some shots at this point, really.
All right, John, what do you got to say? I know you got some stuff to say. I know you got a lot of stuff on it. I see the gears cooking right now that you really just want to say what's on your heart. Say it.
No, I agree with Jay Elson. I kind of want to push him a little bit further because I've been on this as soon as we got Kemba for 2 years. IQ is the odd man out, man. He's not going to be able to come in here for 10 minutes and cook like we're used to him cooking. Like he's not going to be able to put on those 4-3 games if he's playing 10 minutes, even if he's extended to 12 on those 1 or 2 occasions, in my opinion. So it kind of worries me. I honestly, I hate to say his only redeemable chance is if one of our point guards misses some time. You know what I mean? That's when IQ is really going to come in handy. That's where we're going to need him, and that's when his minutes are really going to step up. But if you go to your question, Alex, is what do I think the big issue is? I think we're just missing. I hate to go back to what I said before, but we're just missing that guy that's going to defend the best player on the other team, because it's not Randle. And it's not RJ yet. RJ is kind of defending the shooting guard. And usually the shooting guard on most NBA teams is the second best player, just happens to be like that for the most part. I think the off-ball guard, like RJ can get him. But for the best player, like we really need somebody to guard them.
You mean the 3? So like the small forward?
Yeah, we need somebody to to just if OG is going off, just hold them down. If Gary Trent Jr. is going off, just hold them down. Like switch off, whoever it is that's going off, we just I think that can be RJ. But if you're telling me what we're missing, that's what we're missing.
Interesting.
On the offensive side of the ball, I think we're fine. I don't know. I don't know. If Fournier just does a couple of mid-range buckets in the third quarter there, everything's different. The whole momentum's changed. He plays in the fourth and we win this game. You know what I mean? So to me, the offense is fine. It's just the defense is what's bothering me. I don't think it's a coincidence that we're 25th in the league, like you said. I don't think 20th. That's a coincidence. Yeah, I really don't. I think that's the reality. That's really who we are right now. And we better shape up quick, honestly, because our schedule gets tough, dude.
The thing is that, so you're going, I just want to clarify. So you're going back to saying that the first unit, because no one on the bench there's not really a lot of people you have to worry about guarding on the bench. Cause it's 6-man versus a 6-man at that point. Like your 7th, 8th guy, 9th guy is not.
I mean, every second unit in the NBA is sucking right now. And especially in the East. I'm not worried about, we're fine. I'm worried about.
You're not worried about the Bulls bench?
No, dude, I'm worried about the Knicks. I'm worried as always, and you can probably tattoo this on my head. I am worried about the Knicks third quarter. I've been worried about the Knicks third quarter since I was in 8th grade. I don't know what to do.
I think Derrick Rose is going to snap out of it eventually too. But Derrick Rose had a bad game. But also kind of think the Raptors' speed and length bother us. I think it bothered Rose. I think it bothered their first unit too, to be honest with you.
They're very long. The Raptors are very long, and they're a very good defensive team. We saw that yesterday. They were out hustling us on the glass, especially when we're trying. They got 13 offensive rebounds. That's insanity. But right. I agree with you guys. I think for the second unit, Julius, I agree with you that Quickly just needs to start hitting shots because he's doing all this stuff. John, I'm going to ask you this question before I keep going on. Do you think because no, it's not that bad. I mean, like, because I look at Quickly as like the number 2, right? And I don't even know what you want to call RJ, whether he's the 2, the 3. Everyone says he's a 3. I think he's a 3. So that would make Evan Fournier the de facto 2. Mm-hmm. You don't think Quickly can get minutes over Evan Fournier, or do you think Evan Fournier has to be on the court?
To be honest with you, I feel like they play different position. Even though I know by your logic, like I follow Giles with you on all those premises. Like I agreed with you, but like at the conclusion, for some reason, like it just doesn't. It's not a logical argument there because for some like IQ and Fournier just play different positions to me. Fournier, I don't want him dribbling up the ball. I don't want him bringing up the ball, but IQ, I need him bringing up the ball. Problem is when IQ is just standing around, he doesn't do anything because he just wants the ball. You know what I mean? So he's just like going to wait in the corner. And if he's not getting it, he's just going to stand there. And we saw what happens when he shoots those corner threes, dude. He's not a corner 3 guy. He has 3 shots in his arsenal. Let's keep those pitches like they are. I don't want him to come out here and start throwing a curveball.
Hey, he's hit some layups, all right? He's hit some layups this year, all right?
He's getting better. He's getting better.
Stick to your fastball. Right? Stick to your 4-seamer, your 2-seamer, and your changeup. And that's it, dude. I don't need you doing these crazy things like shooting corner 3s. Just keep it simple.
Yeah, I can get down with that, saying that Evan Fournier and Quickly are different because they are, right? Because Fournier is more of, honestly, like,
he's a 2,
not RJ per se, but they're both that 3. They're prototypical like 2-3 guys, like shooting guard, small forward, like on that brink, like it can go either way. And Quickly is more of the combo guard 1-2, and so like his size, you can't put him in there because you're losing a lot of size, even though he has pretty good wingspan for his size.
Right.
So I can get with that. But I think the thing that's really like, I think an issue that we're not talking about is that when we watch the third unit, the 3-guard lineup that we have with Burks, Quickly, and Rose, they were so good into getting rhythm. Like just everyone, like Derek Rose was so good in creating for others, and then they can all get into their own rhythm and shooting. It feels like they're all waiting for their turn to get the ball and then try to do something. And I think it needs to be a little bit more fluid in the sense of like how the game is played and just play in the rhythm of the game and looking for each other. So I think that's the thing that needs to change. And I think, I don't know, I can't say you got to take time because these guys played with each other last season. It's literally just everyone's just got to get back into rhythm, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but we just got to wait for everyone to get out of their funk and start playing some team basketball. That's the one thing I'll say, though, like overall, before we go into the next topic of waxing poetic about our guy, is that we got to stop with this. It feels like they come out of the game really well. Like it's like, okay, let's all play team basketball. We're going to create for each other. We're going to work off each other. We're going to get into our rhythm. We're going to get our shots. We're going to do stuff off the dribble, whatnot, play the 2-man game. And then second quarter comes along and you're like, where's the ball movement? Where is it? Why is it the screeching halt? And then we're just back into, okay, here comes some isolation. It's your turn. All right, now it's your turn.
It's hard to move the ball when you're up 15. It's just a reality of the situation.
You get complacent. I think that's what's happening. They're getting a little bit too complacent when we up.
If we're up 15, I want to take a 3.
Exactly. It's like I want to have fun.
And then
I hate
Alex
that.
is gonna be like, yo, I want to take a 3. And then all of a sudden it's 7 points. Mm-hmm. And then we give it to Randle to bring us back, and then he misses a good shot. Now it's a 5-point game. You know what I mean? Like just like that. That's what happened yesterday. That's why.
Yeah.
The lead it fell through like a trap door. You know what I mean? I felt like all of a sudden we're walking, everything's good. Like the Knicks are killing, everything's great, and then all of a sudden we like fall through this trap door and we're down 10, and we just never recovered. Like for something, like we could not get out of our own way, no matter what. Every single play, we're arguing with refs. we're doing the same play over and over on offense. They're doing the same play over and over on defense. They're getting second chance points. I love Mitchell Robinson. I can't stress that enough. When he's not on the floor, the second chance opportunities are abhorrent.
Yeah.
Are abhorrent to watch.
Because when he's not out, he's like, oh man, like you can tell when he's tired. And God bless him, because I can tell he's tired, but he's still trying. I can commend that, right? Like he will have one lung left, and he's still trying to block a shot.
Yo, Mitch,
that's when he gets that terrible foul.
Every time.
Yeah,
yo,
it's like a bear foul. Like, I'm tired, bro.
Yo, you see it. He's trying to get back into shape. I can only feel his pain. I played some pickup yesterday, and I was like, I haven't played pickup in like a long time. I'm like out there after one game, I was like, oh man, I gotta get back into this.
I can tell how tired Mitch is by the amount of times he falls on the floor per minute.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously. But that dude's a warrior. That dude's a warrior.
We need Noel back, though. I think we're going to be different with Noel back. You're talking about second unit. I know Taj is there. Taj is better when he's like healthy legs in February. Like, that's when he comes in, as a low key center. He helps. He'll get us through that stretch. But right now, we need Noel back, man. Yeah. If we had Noel as a center, I think Obi is playing a different game when he's in there.
I think
Obi needs time
too, though. Like,
he's out of position, though. We're asking him to do too much, man. We're asking Sean Marion to be the 5 on the second unit. Like, that's literally what we're doing. Like, we need somebody there, man.
I think he's like, I don't know. What I've seen from Obi so far is he just needs more than 10 minutes a game to get comfortable. Obi is a rhythm player. You saw when he was in the summer league. Like, he'll work himself out of these funks by shooting and running around. And when you're only running around for like 5 minutes at a time, you sit back down, I kind of feel like it hurts him. He started off the first week with career high 14 points and small ball lineup, and you're like, yes, it's the Obi show. Obi, he's back. And then all of a sudden it's like back to 10 minutes, and it's like, oh, he needs a runway. He's a guy who needs to get a running start to do everything from jump shots to block shots. Like, he needs to just run. I don't even think he should be on the bench anymore. I feel like he should be on a bike.
But you're right, Jail. It's like the dude needs his rhythm. Like, we even saw it during preseason when Randle was out for the birth of his newborn, and you saw he had a funk, right? He didn't really get himself situated in the first half. Second half, he comes out, gets the 13 points, gets the rebounds. Like, he gets back in rhythm. And you talked about it. First game, we had that small ball lineup, and I've been saying this, and like we've been saying this on the podcast. Like, I want to see the small ball. I just don't think it's going to happen because Tom Thibodeau's like, we need rim protection, and he's going to have both the 7-footers in there just chilling for most of the game.
I like rim protection. Don't count me with you. I need Mitch or Noel in there at all times, and if you need Taj to get in 7 to 10 minutes because they're tired, then no problem.
But you see, here's my thing though. Here's my thing, because you've been wanting Obi to get to 20 minutes. So how's he going to get 20 minutes without playing some small ball?
Go ahead, JLs.
Obi's defense is taking a step, man. Like, he's like, to me, like,
oh, for sure.
There was a play yesterday. I was going to throw Randle. I'm sorry, Randle. Like, I was so pissed. Obi comes in the game and he I think he blocks Anunoby like twice or something. And I just needed Randle to take 2 steps and get the rebound. And he just stood there like his feet was in cement. And it burned me. And at that point, I'm just like, yo, bench Randle, put Obi in, and then like maybe put Mitch in, because I just felt like he started to earn those minutes now that he's like putting the effort on the defensive end. And I think that's part of the problem with the second unit. Even with Tom, even when he's playing well, like ride the wave of like he's the best defensive guy out right now. Ride the wave of he's hitting shots right now. I think that's part of the problem. And then when Randall's not playing well, he's like trying to get him out of the funk by playing him more.
Exactly. I'm with JLs. That's it. No, he got me. That's where I want all these minutes to come in. And that solves your initial issue. You're
asking for 20 minutes. There's 48 minutes in the game. Randall's getting 30. So then that's
okay. That's
minutes.
fine.
Okay, so if he gets minimum 30, which I find to be hard to believe under a Tom Thibodeau-led team.
I know, but he
For
just
anyone
needs to
to get
shave by
30.
like 5 minutes. Like if he's getting 32, 33 a game, give that extra, what 5, 6, whatever is left to Obi that gets him at 15, 16 minutes. No problem. That sounds good. Now Randall's not asked to do too much. And now Obi gets to get into that rhythm Jails was talking about. Everybody's happy, but you need Noel behind him. You can't ask him to be the 5. He's out of position.
Yeah, you can't ask him to be the 5. Absolutely.
That's what small ball is.
Well, that's the thing. Well, the thing is that he wouldn't be the 5. Randall would be the 5 because he has the body to actually push people. That's
Randall and Obi together is disgusting. I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say that out loud? Like I do not. I do not want that.
It's worked. It has worked.
I know.
I know. Worked.
I could see it working for spurts, but I don't want.
That's the whole point. It is supposed to work for spurts. It's not supposed to be. Let's rely on this. Like you do. That's especially when you see like the Clippers do that in playoffs. It's to throw people off. Like you throw that in spurts. So like, oh, you want to have Zubac out there? Fine. We're going to go small ball. Have Zubac try to run up with us. All right. That's not going to happen. Same thing with Rudy Gobert. Use it against the Jazz. He's not going to run up with us. You're going to have to modify it to us if you want to stop some points.
Exactly.
If that's like net zero, I'd be ecstatic. What's up?
That's kind of how I can do us with the zone defense.
Like, oh my God. I'm so irritated that we have a better offense and they still use the zone on us. That is so disrespectful. So disrespectful.
Well, bang threes on you. Bang threes on them. You can't play zone against someone who's banging threes. So that.
Do you realize we shoot less threes when they go zone? Did you realize? Did you guys realize that?
Because we don't attack. Because we don't attack. We don't break it. Like we don't try to burst to the rack and then have them collapse. Like, all right, there you go. Kick it out.
I'll tell you what though, having a center with no offense is why the 2-3 zone works. Because the way to break the 2-3 zone is 2 ways. You can either do the high post and break that, but if your center is just stuck and clogging the middle, then the high post is double teamed basically. That's one thing. Or you overload a side. But if you overload a side, then again, Mitch is not he's an offensive liability. So now you're double teaming Randall. So that's why they ISO Randall whenever there's a zone, so they can get everyone away from him. But now we get mad that we're ISOing Randall, and at that point he's not getting anyone else open. So it's really like that is how you defend the Knicks. You know what I mean? At this exact juncture, that is how you attack the Knicks. But if you had some sort of like RJ Barrett, which we should get into right now, that had an expanded role, and I don't think that's the Knicks' problem. Like I want you to expand on that because I know you mentioned it, and you're saying you want Tibbs to give to give the ball to RJ. I think RJ's just guarded. I think RJ was just he couldn't get the ball more. I think yesterday he tried his best to get the ball and get open as much as he could. And he just couldn't get open. I think he tried to get to the line as much as he could, and he did a good job at that. He's hitting his free throws. That's great. I just think he's having a hard time. They're putting the best defenders on RJ Barrett. He's getting respect on the court at least. We won't talk off the court.
So first off, that was clipboard X's and O's with John Meleka, our resident coach. Thank you for coaching the church league, so we know some how to break zones and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But
to get to your zone, that's a CYO staple, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
But to get to your point about giving RJ the ball, I can't get behind that when he puts up 36 and then 27, and he puts up 20 the night before. I can't say that he can't create his own shot, that he can't do it, or that
I didn't say that. He wasn't open yesterday. Like he didn't get open. Like what were we gonna do?
But I think you're not. You see, it's one thing to say for someone to get open. It's then another thing saying take the ball, setting some screens and helping him get open, because he's good with the pick and roll with Mitch. He can get that lob. Start utilizing that. He's able to find Mitch. He's able to give him that lob, get that going. And then once you start doing that, just that simple 2-man game between those two and whoever else, you now start to unlock RJ's offense, because now that
became so predictable yesterday, bro. And how predictable did that become yesterday, guys? Like they read that like a book. Like we did that 2 times. They got the garden rolling, and then we tried it 2 more times. It got blocked both times.
But that's the thing. You can't try it 2 times and just keep going back to knowing that Mitch is going to do it. Now they got to drop, and then he's got to take that mid-range jumper and do all the other things, or set a screen around the arc so that we can just dribble him off the bounce and get something going. Like there's so many ways to get RJ going that it's the same thing that we're doing with Randle. It's like, okay, we're not scoring, throw the ball to Randle, let Randle figure it out. And we legit let Randle figure it out without giving Randle any help. We're not getting him screens. We're not doing pick and rolls with him. Like Kemba should be doing pick and rolls with Randle and having Randle roll to the rim. Because my God, that would be easy 2 points right there. You're not stopping a Mack truck coming down the lane, but we're not doing that. Instead, we just give it to him, not even the high post. We give him like out of position, like out on the wing between both the high post and the block. And it's like, all right, dude, back your way down and go try to get something, which is just crazy to think about. Like get him out, get him on the low post, do something with Randle. Or what I'm asking to do is say, hey, we have a very young, talented wing who just put up 36 points the other night, and we're seeing that he's getting going again. Let's set some screens for this guy. Do some give and goes, get him out in motion, do something. Like do something for the kid.
Here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that, we have a situation where we have new players in Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. We have emerging person in RJ Barrett. And we have like all these new toys to play with. And we just haven't figured out how to play with them yet. And that's up to the coaching staff to figure out, right? Like, because I don't think we've had this many weapons before. And we like, and all these are legitimate arguments, but my hope is it's still early in the season and we haven't figured out these wrinkles in the playbook to counteract what the hell is going on. Because for I feel like what we're doing right now, I'm hoping this is what it is. We're defaulting to what we had last year. Like what last year we had Randle doing ISO, and we're going to start off this year with Randle doing ISO until we build out the playbook offensively and add some more wrinkles. Like we've seen some more wrinkles added to the playbook in general with some sets for Kemba and Fournier, but hopefully we build that out more when it comes to these end of game situations, so we don't be as predictable. And like we were saying before, like, oh, we couldn't get RJ the ball just because maybe he's not in the playbook yet. Maybe that hasn't been in practice yet, but it's a long season. So hopefully it's like, all right, this today, we're going to add this play to playbook for end of game situations. Now we can get Kemba the ball. We can get RJ the ball off of a double drag screen, whoop-de-doo, whatever play you want to name it, right? Like,
come on, John, what are the plays, man? You're a resident coach.
Never heard the horn whoop-de-doo? Like, that's in the book. I heard it.
Horn
speaking of plays, I really hate that the Raptors have the signs. They have like signs with symbols on it, like it's college football. Like they held one sign with like a guy snapping a finger, like a finger snap.
That is ridiculous.
I was really, that was the one thing that really annoyed me. I was like, come on,
next thing you're going to tell me is that they got like the quarterback like wristband and they're calling out plays and just like, yo, check your wristband.
Nick Nurse, you're better than that, man. You're better than that. Come on. Shout out to Malachi Flynn though. He always lights it up on us too, low key.
Yeah.
I like Malachi Flynn.
I like Malachi Flynn. I wanted him last year.
Yeah, same. I wish we drafted him too, man.
You got to give him props.
All these players. Yeah.
The Raptors have
John Starks, nice guy.
But yeah, man, I mean, other than that, like the good thing is that we're complaining with a winning team, and this is like the nitpicking all other sports podcasts get to do. If you're like a Spurs fan, if you're like a Warriors fan, this is like we're talking like in the grand scheme of thing, we're talking about little adjustments that we're asking the teams to do, to add more plays for RJ, to really stop doing isolation play, to play better defense, to not blow leads. These are like the small quibbles that we're having, rather than saying, guys, this organization is ridiculous. We have to do an overhaul. Oh my God, this is all. We don't have a development staff.
Like, crazy. How are we trading for Devin Booker?
Oh,
no. My goodness.
He's having a down year. Maybe we should get him now.
This is it. This is the chance.
IQ straight up for D Book. Who says no?
Oh my, yeah, right.
IQ for Ben Simmons.
He's not vaccinated, bro. He can't play here.
Oh yeah.
You can't play here.
But no, like just to keep going back out to RJ, like I love what RJ's doing this season, man. To keep it going, like it is great to see in his third year. Shout out to David Zena who said, "Watch out for third year RJ." Like the goods are coming, man. The goods are coming. This kid has been killing it the last couple of games. The last 3 games, RJ's averaging 27.3 points per game, 5.7 rebounds per game, 63% field goal percentage, 63% 3-point percentage, 80% free throw percentage.
That's it.
Insane.
All-star.
Yeah, dude, a star in the making, man.
All-star.
This kid,
No, he's gonna be all-star. If he does this, he's gonna be all-star.
You're calling all-star this year for him?
If he does this, if he keeps this up, and we're the number 3 and we're top 3 seed, he's gonna be an all-star.
Has to.
It's gonna be like the Milwaukee Bucks type deal where it's like, yeah, maybe he doesn't have the best numbers ever, but they are where they are because of him. Like straight up Middleton.
I was thinking you could go straight up like Middleton type.
Yeah. If he keeps this up, man. If it's like I don't know what the future holds. Sometimes you go on these stretches where you go out of your mind. If he keeps this play up, I definitely see him being an all-star. I didn't expect it. I feel like
he's not playing out of his mind. I feel like he's playing bad.
Not.
The craziest part.
The thing is like it's not out of like obviously 63 3-point percentage is just like that's not sustainable. It's like it's gonna be 40. Like he's gonna average somewhere 80, around 40. Right? Yeah, right. If he's dropping 80, can you imagine? Steph Curry handle this,
right?
But no, like the thing with RJ, it's just like JLC say, like we don't know what the future is for this kid. John, you mentioned that he's not doing anything flashy. He really has something similar. He's not Paul Pierce, but he has that basic, not flashy game, but just gets his numbers because he uses his attributes to do so. So in this case, he's not the fastest guy, right? But he knows he has the body and the strength to bully his way in and get shots. And he's gotten better off the dribble and doing things. And he's playing at his pace, kind of like what Kawhi Leonard does. Like Kawhi's not the fastest guy, but he plays to like his own pace and that's it, right? Like he's just playing to his own pace and creating the shots that he knows on his own time. And you have to figure it out. Like if he develops like that herky-jerky type of play style, like that's really going to throw people off because herky-jerky guys are usually not the fastest guys. You know what I mean? So
Jimmy Butler.
I don't know.
I've been saying all last season.
I think
Jimmy Butler with a 3. I've been saying,
Hell yeah.
Jimmy Butler with a 3.
Jimmy Butler. The thing is, like Jimmy Butler, I think is more athletic and quicker off the dribble. I think it's no, you don't think so?
Well, RJ's got this, bro. He's 21.
I'm not saying RJ.
Look at RJ's 20. Look at RJ's first 2 years in the league and Jimmy Butler's first 2 years in the league. It's not even close.
I'm not gonna compare that because Tibbs was coaching Jimmy and he's like, "You're a rookie. You're not playing 8 minutes. Get the hell out of here." Oh, you're a sophomore too. You're not playing 8 minutes.
I'm just saying when he started playing, like when he started.
But then you have to start like from the third year to compare.
With his age, yeah. I still think RJ. I still think RJ compares to Jimmy.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Honestly, I look at him more. I look at RJ more of like a Jaylen Brown type player, in my opinion. Just that's how I look at it. Like a big wing who's physical, has a shot. I think we all love Jimmy Butler just because Tibbs had Jimmy Butler. I think that's just the easiest thing to say. But in my eyes, I think Jaylen Brown and RJ are like more similar than it is RJ to Jimmy.
Well, I only say that because I know Jimmy Butler was good in the mid-range, that kind of lower mid-range area. And that's kind of what RJ's bread and butter kind of was, but you didn't really see it because the spacing was so bad. And now that the spacing is there and he's gotten better at finishing, you're starting to see it more. And the 3 wasn't really there yet when I was even making those comparisons last year, but now it's kind of coming along. So that's where the 3 came from.
But that's why that's why I'm saying like more like Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown came in as like a defensive guy, not really a shooter.
Yeah.
And then
but Jaylen could pull up from the top of the key from 3. And that's no problem.
No, not first year. Jaylen was not like a 3-point
No, but
shooter
right now, I don't want RJ pulling. RJ could shoot corner 3s when he's open.
He's doing some off the dribble, man. He's doing some off the dribble.
Off the dribble 3. I was like, whoa, where did that come from?
It was nice, but like I don't want to pull him up from the top of the key. Like I would rather at this juncture.
He had to step back, dude, man. You gotta let guys do this type of stuff in order to get comfortable with it. I'm just saying that right now.
I like him. I don't know. Either one is fine. We're nitpicking.
You have that Tiz mentality, man. You're like, if I haven't seen, you're like Patrick Ewing. Did you do that in practice? No. What the hell were you doing?
Shoot that shot.
Yeah, shoot in practice. Yeah, shoot in practice. Like,
Shoot that shot.
Yeah, I like the two dribbles, and then pull up from
Hell
three
yeah.
kind of thing.
Be Rip
Like,
Hamilton, bro.
Yeah, like those. Yeah,
All right.
I could do with that, But
Listen, if Fournier
let him
or
do more,
RJ
man.
Barrett decide to embrace the mid-range game, especially when the Knicks are 100% on this 3-point, invasion, if either or could just embrace the mid-range game, and it's worked. You've seen it work. Kevin Durant,
right.
like even Klay Thompson gets in there.
Hell yeah.
Rip Hamilton, like you go down the list, the mid-range game is huge, man. And if
you could go back to the finals. We just saw two teams that were proficient in the mid-range.
Kawhi.
Yeah, the mid-range is not dead.
I'm just saying. So if those two could develop that and just really sit on that, I think our offense changes.
Oh, for sure. 100%. And I hope they take more mid-range. They can't. I don't want to see the Houston Rockets, Daryl Morey, live and die by the three. That's just nonsense. But that's what they did last night. They didn't utilize the mid-range until RJ started getting going and was like, oh, let me just do everything to create some offense. So RJ's amazing, guys. I love the development. I can't wait. Everyone just had to be patient. We're going to see. I'm expecting a very big year. I think he's going to get the 20 points per game that everyone wants. I think he's going to be that dude this year.
Yeah, man. I agree.
Are we going to bounce back versus the Pacers, though?
So let's get into the schedule now. Let's get into the schedule. We got the Pacers on deck for tomorrow. Are we going to bounce back against the Pacers? I think yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a Tom Thibodeau-led team, like John, you mentioned on the last podcast that this team will go on losing streaks. I think if you're Tibbs, you see a struggling Pacers team, you say, we got to beat these guys now, because all these other teams in the NBA, I think this is what he's trying to, like, if he's coaching them and saying from a high aspect, guys, it's early in the season, every team's struggling, whether it's the Nets, the Bucks, whatever, everyone's records are not like, I say the Bucks because they don't, like, what you're looking
at. All coming back, serious, bro. All the Nets, the Bucks, and the Pacers all bouncing back, like at this very moment.
But this is what I'm saying. I know, but this is what I'm saying. Like, everyone's struggling. They're starting to bounce back. And I think Tibbs himself is saying, look, guys, it's still early. People are trying to figure themselves out. We have to win the games, especially early in the season, to get this good positioning. So when you see the Pacers up, I think he's saying, look, we got to beat the Pacers, because that next game, that's going to be a challenge. That's the Milwaukee Bucks. So I do expect the Knicks to come out and, unfortunately, give us another scare, because that's the only way this team knows how to win. And they're going to beat the Pacers, but they're going to get a lead. It's going to dwindle. They're going to bounce back, have cardiac Knicks again, and we're going to get that win against the Pacers. That's what I think. Jealous. What about yourself?
I agree with you there. I don't think I don't think we're leaving that building without a win. I think Julius is going to have a better game. I think Evan Fournier is going to have a better game, because I don't think he's like being benched in the fourth quarter at all. I think he took that personally. And I think I'm hoping that it's going to be tough. Pacers going to be a little bit tougher, but I feel like we fared well with them playing against them last season, and I expect the same this season. I think we're going to win that.
John, what about yourself?
I would be lying if I say I wasn't nervous about this game. The Pacers, they did look tough the first 4 games. I'm a league pass addict. I can't stay away. Last Pacers game with LeVert finally back, they looked really good. They look really good with LeVert. You be worried about the Pacers with LeVert. I don't know what else to say. Like, they look really good. I'm hoping maybe he doesn't play this game, or maybe because, this is his first game back, might be on a minutes restriction the second game. Also, we're going to be, like you guys said, I agree with both of you. We're going to have chip on our shoulders from all our key players, right? Fournier, the point guards, Randle, throw RJ in there, right? Like, everybody's going to be, there to go. And Mitch versus Miles Turner. You're gonna tell me that he doesn't know about those rumors, right? He knows.
Yeah,
he's out for blood. And Randle, we know, is out for blood versus Sabonis. Kind of worried that Sabonis wants a rematch there. You know what I mean? Like Randle can't win every time. So, I'm a tiny bit worried about this.
God,
game.
you're gonna be hyped for this game, man. Jeez.
Yeah, this is a big game for us because I'm gonna look ahead. I'm a big Knicks fan, guys. I think we're gonna get smacked versus the Bucks on Friday. Friday night Knicks is not gonna be nice to us. The Bucks are off from yesterday till Friday. They're waiting for us off another loss. Like you said, they have a slow start. I think Middleton will probably be back. I'm worried about Friday. I think the Knicks are worried about Friday. I think everybody knows like this Friday is going to be a tough one. And we need this game. We need it. So
I you know what? I'm worried about the Bucks, but you know what though? Do you know when we beat the Bucks the first
last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, you know what happened? Elfrid Payton was playing out of his mind. He had played like 20 points, and everybody was leaving him open for three. And that's pretty much why we won, because he was hitting shots. Like, who is this man hitting shots from the 3-point line?
That was the EP game.
Yeah, that was the EP game. And this year we have somebody who can do that for us. So I'm not sure. I mean, listen, they're still defending champs, and there's a monster down there.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna leave Kemba Walker open.
Yeah, I'm about to say they're not gonna do that, Jails. Come on now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm trying to be optimistic Knicks fan. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's gonna
there's nobody to hold Giannis at the
Yeah, this Friday is gonna be tough, and because of that, we need this game. Like I'm worried about it. Like if Friday was a mediocre opponent, I'd be singing a different tune about the Pacers game. I'd maybe be a little more negative, but we need this game because of the Bucks coming in. We can't afford this losing streak right now, Alex. I know I said we're gonna go on a losing streak. We can't afford it right now. We need to beat the Pacers game. We're gonna take it seriously. We're not gonna lack any motivation here. So I'm excited about that. I see a win here. I see a loss versus the Bucks. Sunday night matinee versus the Cavs in the Garden.
Well, yeah. Well, I think I just want to get in with you guys. I see a loss to the Bucks. I don't know if it's gonna be an ass whooping though. I think they'll be in it. I don't think it'll be an ass whooping where it's going to be like 20 points. I think it will be on the 10 to 12 range because we'll come back and make it look a little bit cleaner at the end. Personally.
So we're on the same page now with Pacers and with Bucks.
Yes.
All of us.
What teams are you guys scared of? Because I'm not scared of that many teams in general.
In the
East? I'm not scared of that many teams.
But Bucks scare the living crap out of
well, of course, the championship Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks, the Heat, the playoffs. I don't want to play
the Heat is intimidating. the Heat is intimidating. That defense is real.
I don't want to play the Celtics. I don't want to play the Celtics in the playoffs. I don't care what anyone says right now. I just don't want to do it.
I'm not scared of the Celtics.
I'm not scared of them. I'm not scared of them, but I'm not going into a playoff series with the Celtics. Like, yeah, we got this. It's gonna go 7.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
It's not a we got this. Sorry to cut you off, Jealous. It's not a we got this, but it's a. I could see the Celtics. One, they're in turmoil right now. Marcus Smart making his comments.
Yeah, of course. That's all.
But I know it's going to change. But the way I see it is that once again, there's no playmaking on this team. You're asking your two best wings to be playmakers, and I kind of look at this as the same as the Clippers. Well, the last 2 seasons, you have these 2 good wings, but no point guard play, and you're trying to figure out who's going to get what. That's where you have a really good floor general. They don't have that, and I think that's where they can get exposed. Is that you can just stop them, like say, okay, we're gonna stop Jalen right now because he's got the ball and he's not really gonna pass it. Okay, we're gonna stop Jason right now because he's got the ball and he's not really gonna pass it. Like
you can't stop him.
Not stop him, but like contain him. You know what I mean? Like
I just one of those guys is gonna drop. Would you be singing a different real quick? Would you be singing a different tune if Tatum hits that 3 at the end of regulation? He was wide open.
No, okay. But I kind of feel like Jaylen Brown was playing out of his mind.
That's true.
Jalen's not dropping 46 every single night.
Yeah, that's not happening
every
game.
That's true.
Do you see what the Bulls just did to them last night?
I'm not scared of the Bulls. Of course, I'm definitely worried about. I'm definitely worried about the Hawks. I would throw the Nets in there. Like I don't want to play the Nets in a series. I'm not scared of them, but I'm scared of Kevin Durant. 100%.
Yeah,
Kevin Durant's unbelievable.
Yeah. Am I worried? But am I crazy that I'm still not scared of the Hawks, even though they got mollywopped last season?
I'm not scared of them. I don't mind. It's like you're gonna have to
I don't
play some of these
respect
guys,
them
so you
enough to
can't-
scare them. To be scared of them. You
I
know
just
what I
know-
mean?
I think the thing I think for me, it's like I respect these teams, and I know the Knicks are just gonna have battles with these teams.
Right.
There's
I
no one
respect
can
the
go-
Hawks. I respect the
there's
Hawks.
I look at them as not saying I'm afraid that we're gonna lose them. I just know that most of these games are gonna be a full-on battle at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not knowing which way it's gonna end. Like last season, I know everyone was hyped about the Hawks.
They're better
Hawks
this year.
were the Hawks. You think the Hawks are better this year?
I think they're better.
We're better.
They're
too.
playing better. They're playing better. They're playing better than they were in the playoffs right now. Even though Trae Young's not going off yet. The only thing is he's not getting those fouls, which is huge.
The thing
This is huge.
that is
it's
big.
so huge. So
And RJ will smack Cam Reddish. I'm sorry. Man, that's little bro. I'm sorry.
you're right.
My,
I love Cam Reddish, but you're right.
my thing is that the Hawks are deep. We're deep. Regular season is just everyone getting ready for the postseason. I'm not afraid of these teams except the Bucks. And I would be more terrified of the Nets if they had Kyrie.
What about the Heat?
But they don't.
I'm terrified.
I'm terrified of the Heat too.
I don't
The
want
Heat, the Heat,
bro.
the Heat. It's Pat
don't want
Riley.
nothing.
I don't trust Pat Riley, man. Just don't trust that man. I do not trust that man.
Yeah,
Don't trust that man whatsoever.
I would throw Heat and Hawks up there too. Like just at least those guys.
No,
Like,
I respect these
put
teams.
some respect on
but-
their name.
Okay.
Get Heat, Bucks, and a full net squad. Not
Yeah.
this net squad.
Yeah.
A full net squad. Those are the
Okay,
three
no.
teams.
How about this? How about this? No Kyrie, but healthy Harden. Still, that's a real team.
That's it's still a challenge, but I look at everybody else on the team like, well, Marcus Aldridge is scaring me. Blake Griffin's not scaring me. Who Joe Harris? I'm not afraid of Joe Harris. Those two guys
Dude,
are
Patty
we're talking
Mills.
about
They're a good team,
Yeah.
man.
They're good.
They're
Healthy
a good
Harden.
my
team.
team. I'm not
Healthy
saying they're not a
Harden
good team, but they're not terrifying.
I've been watching the Nets a lot, bro. They're good. They're
Healthy
good.
Harden.
I hate to say it, but if Harden is 100%, it's gonna be scary.
But the thing is that you're saying like they're good and act like we're also good. Like
Yeah,
teams-
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
that's
love
the
Kevin
thing.
Durant.
I get that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we're not.
yeah.
I'm not over here saying that we're going to like win the championship. But if you're saying, hey,
I'm not terrified
Like-
of them. I'm honestly more
Yeah.
scared of the Heat, to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
yeah, no,
But-
I agree with that.
Yeah, we're still under them.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Nice tangent. I like it.
we lose. We beat the Pacers. We lose to the Bucks. We have like a midday matinee at home versus the Cavs, 6:00 on Sunday. Kind of weird
Midday.
time.
That's midday. That's evening.
Yes.
Well, because that's prime time for Sunday, right? The Super Bowl is a Sunday at 6:00. That's prime time. It's weird. It's a weird timing.
I think
for a
midday is
basketball
noon.
game.
But that's another story.
Yeah,
That's another
midday
story.
is afternoon. to
Okay.
me.
All
Like,
right.
three.
Well, it's just a weird time for
Mhm.
NBA basketball game.
No jet, so it doesn't matter.
Just to get to ruin our week on Thursday.
How dare you?
Just kidding.
Mike White is the
Show.
truth.
Mike White show. We need this
But-
win, but I'm scared of this game, man. I'm
But-
a little scared of this Cavs game, especially on a Sunday, coming
Yeah,
home
no.
again coming
Yeah,
home.
I'm scared of that Kemba matchup for real.
The Cavs are good. The Cavs are a good defensive team. A
The
lot of
Jared
height.
Allen matchup.
Not only Jared Allen.
The Jared Allen matchup. The
Mobley.
most underrated center in the league.
Evan Mobley, bro. That's the guy. I'm like,
Mm.
he's tantalizing. He's a good player.
Yeah, we like the Cavs on this podcast. Yeah, I mean they're good, dude.
They got a lot of look. They took the Knicks blueprint and they just expanded it. They said, "F the power forwards. We're gonna go all centers this time." All right. We got Laurie Marketing. We got Evan Mobley. We got Jared Allen. We want everyone who's 7 foot and taller. But no, I think defensively they're a good team. Colin Sexton is having a year so far. Darius Garland is going off. They're going to be a tough team. This is not the easy pushover Cavs of years past. This is going to be a battle. I think the Knicks can squeeze out a win against them, but this is going to be once again that same situation like against the Pacers where they're going to get a lead. It's going to dwindle, and then some late game heroics is going to help us win because the Cavs are a good team. But I wouldn't be surprised if we lose. But I think the Knicks have this one just because of the youth of the backcourt.
Yeah, I would keep an eye on Tibbs and like him monitoring the speed. Because like I've just noticed our first unit sometimes it just look tired after a while. Like they'll play defensive in spurts, but it just looks like they stop trying after there's like a time limit on it. So with those guys with their kind of faster backcourts and with Kemba and Fournier, I think Tom has to keep an eye on the effort level from that first unit on the defensive end, and maybe you have to start subbing stuff early, or recruit some grind time or grind time, something like we might have to dig deep and switch it up if Fournier or somebody decides not to play defense. I'm just saying.
Yeah, to be honest with you, this is a bad matchup. I low-key think this is our first losing streak. I think Bucks loss in Milwaukee and then come home, Cavs loss. And Alex, you had it almost right. I think this is identical to the Raptors game that we just had. I think we're gonna have a little bit of a lead in the beginning and drop off. I could also see us coming up short from the beginning. Just Cavs running us, just like kind of like having more speed, more pace than us. This kind of feels like a little trap, especially because it's sandwiched in between the 76ers on the road, and then we got back home Milwaukee again. So
that's the thing.
This really feels like an L to me, especially because I think that we're gonna go and grab a W in Philly on that Monday. Especially because you're talking about a slow team with injuries. Embiid,
yeah,
I mean, Embiid is injured. The Phillies is whack. They can't figure it out. They don't know what's going on over there. They're in actual turmoil. Team.
They're in actual.
But they're 5-2. So like
they're 5-2. I mean, yeah, but have you been impressed with anything they've been doing?
No, I have not been impressed with anything that they're doing. But yet they're 5-2, and they've. When you look at like who they've been, like they beat the Trailblazers. Granted, Dame has not been in form. They beat the Hawks. Not really concerned about the Pistons. They
killed the Hawks.
Yeah. I guess if you're looking at it, like who they lost to us. I guess if you're looking at it, who they truly beaten to give you like
they killed the Hawks.
Yeah. No, I can see it. I can get behind it then. I
just want to keep crushing them. Can we just keep crushing Philly? This is gonna be their revenge game. They're looking forward to this game. We're looking forward to this game. I don't know. I have a feeling it just feels very Knicksy to lose to the Cavs at home on a Sunday, right in the mix, and then get back up as underdogs in Philly and win
Opposite
that game.
Day Sunday.
Yeah. Wouldn't be great.
Like we're gonna be favorites. We're gonna be favorites on Sunday versus the Cavs. I feel like we're gonna lose, and we're gonna be dogs versus Philly, and I think we're gonna win. And then that kind of puts us up as a toss up, and hopefully we're able to beat the Bucks at home and split that. And that's where we are right now when you listen to this podcast, right? Like this is the last time that this podcast expires. We're here on Wednesday, November 10th. The new episode coming out, and I think we'll be okay here. We split the Bucks. Beat the Pacers, beat the Sixers, lose to the Cavs. That's fantastic to me. I'm down with that. 3-2.
I can get with that.
I just want to beat the 76ers. I just want to beat them for like how much? We haven't won since 2012.
Bro.
Can we get them like? Can we get like a 7-year win run on the 76ers?
I want us to get the 15-17 game win streak now. I don't want them to beat us at all.
Run the table. Run the table on a 6.
That's what I'm saying. I think they think like that too, guys. I legit think that.
So like I'm gonna have to change it and go with you, John. I'm gonna have to change it and say that we lose to the Cavs too, because I can see that now. It is opposite day Sunday.
I can see it, but I'm not conceding.
No, Giles, hold the line, because we want to be wrong, guys. We want to be wrong.
Yeah, I hate to do this. I'm a flip with John because opposite day Sunday is a thing. It is a thing. It is a thing, man. It is a thing. I could see that. 2-game beat the Pacers, 2-game losing streak, beat the Sixers. Where I will differ with you is that I don't see us beating the Bucks. I can't see
both times.
I don't see it.
Solid sweep.
It's not a sweep. Do we play the Bucks a few more times this season? We usually play.
I'm just saying, like in this little stretch.
I'm going with my most optimistic count, which is lose to the Bucks away, and then beat the Pacers next game, lose to the Bucks, come back, beat the Cavs, beat the 76ers, lose to the Bucks.
Bucks.
Oh, I was about to say, Nick's gonna lose a game in jail.
All right. So JLS has got beating the Pacers, losing to the Bucks, beating the Cavs, beating the Sixers, losing to the Bucks. John's got beating the Pacers, losing to the Bucks, losing to the Cavs, beating the Sixers, beating the Bucks. I got beating the Pacers, losing to the Bucks, losing to the Cavs, beating the Sixers, losing to the Bucks. So I'm going 2 and 3. I know it's not pretty.
You guys are too scared of Milwaukee. Is it?
Hold on 1 second. We just had a tangent. We just had a tangent about you being afraid of the Bucks. What is going on?
Yeah, but we should be scared of them. Come on, we could beat them. Come on.
Oh man, that's
hilarious.
All right.
Great.
I mean,
great.
Who do maybe if we re-sign what's his name who we signed from the Portland Dribblers who was the Giannis stopper on the Knicks for a year?
Noah Vonleh.
Oh yeah, maybe we should just
Noah Vonleh.
If we sign Noah Vonleh, maybe
that's true. Or Bobby Portis.
Portis.
Have him switch for the day.
Nah, we need the king, man, the one who stopped the king, Mario Hezonja. Get him back.
I'm down for Hezonja.
He walked over. I mean, he stepped over Giannis Antetokounmpo.
He did. I forgot about Super Mario's prowess. You need to bring back.
Come on, man.
Prowess.
Oh man. On that note, this is a great place to end it. JL,
Mario Hezonja is a great place to end.
Exactly.
Great place to end. But Jay Ellis, my man, thank you for coming on the show. We always appreciate it. Please let our listeners know where they can find you, but they don't know where to find you. I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know how you know about us. You don't know about Jay Ellis, but Jay Ellis, please go off.
Just find us at youtube.com/The Nick of Time Show. Don't forget you can just Google us, really.
It's Google Nick of Time.
Just Google The Nick of Time Show. It should pop up. Instagram and SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Twitter, all that stuff. Come find us.
And the blog. Come on, man. You got
and the blog, Nick of Time Show. Snapbacks on the blog. And check out the Ninja P comic on the blog too. Yeah.
Oh, that was really good.
Yes.
Really liked it.
Thanks.
Great stuff.
Yeah,
I know you had Alex Wolf edit that. That was great. Great illustration.
Yeah,
great comic. That was awesome.
Shout out to Alex Wolf. Shout out to my guy Ronnie Sen for the art. And yeah.
Awesome stuff. Well, everyone, make sure to go check out the Nick of Time Show. You can find him on all platforms, everywhere. As JL has said, they do great work. He does great work over there, and everyone else that's part of his team. Good stuff. Raw, Ryan. You got Mikey over there. Everyone's doing some great stuff. Mm-hmm. But everyone, that's the end of this Knicks pod of the Knicks Jets Etc. podcast. So please make sure to give us a 5-star review if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts. And if you don't, it's okay. I'll tell you why. As my cat is trying to freaking fight their way into this door. You can find us on Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it, we are there. On top of that, if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. It's just a polite thing to do. Also, please make sure to find us on all social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, you name it, we're there.
We are there.
All right, everyone. Catch you later this week for a Jets pod and a Jets rapid reaction for us going crazy for Mike White, the legend Mike White.
Hall of Famer, Mike White. Let's go Knicks,
like Mario.
Yeah, we'll get it. Mike White and Mario Hezonja. That's it, baby.
Oh my God, the guys,
the Mount Rushmore.